Red Business with Jonathan Healy. Combine all your lines of communication and simplify the game. Search Vodafone One Net Business today.
How much of your business do you do online these days? How much shopping do you do online? The answer is probably a lot. Globally, the digital economy is worth a whopping $20 trillion. But guess what? We don't currently have a digital strategy for Cork. There's a conference to discuss this gap on May 30th. It's organised by Corkman Kieran O'Hay, who previously had the fancy title of Chief Digital Officer of Brisbane.
Cork as a region contributes 17% of national GDP, approximately. It's been a merchant city trading for 200 years, so it's got to that point. The digital economy is approximately 20 years old, so a tenth of that is already contributing 6% of GDP, so a third of what Cork is providing. So really it's just any city needs to consider the impact of the digital economy. I mean, to ignore it and just to continue with traditional kind of economic development plans which don't feature digital economy is short-sighted, I think, and it needs to be addressed through a digital strategy.
If you're interested in going to that event, tickets for the May 30th event are free. Just Google "A Cork Digital Strategy is Vital" and you'll get all the details.
Red Business with Jonathan Healy. Teams work better when you simplify the game. Search Vodafone One Net Business today.
Sometimes I get a little obsessed about weird things, and one of those weird things are cranes. When you go to Dublin, you can't but be struck how many of them there are, some 70 at last count. And here in Cork, well, there are less, way less. I can count 5, 2 on Anglesey Street, 2 up at Apple and 1 on the Western Road that only went up in the last few days. I've been speaking with Anne Doherty of Cork City Council about what that lack of craneage says about Cork compared with Dublin.
I think it's important that we future-proof because unfortunately in the cycles of economics there will be ups and downs, and that it's very important that what we do is actually future-proofed. And so therefore the important things of maintaining what are the added value of coming to Cork for companies and then for the people who live in Cork is about quality of life. It is about having the relationship with the universities from a skills perspective and having very good quality public space, because it would be very easy for me to sit in my office and look out and count the cranes every day as a numerical measure and say that we're being very successful, but I would be very concerned that that would not translate into actually a sustainable solution, because if we don't put the foundation stones in place for the things that maintain attractiveness, we will fail. So for me, the work that we've been doing on promoting and developing the brand of Cork as a place to live, work and to play from a city perspective is very, very important, and all our policies are geared around that.
Now, Anne Doherty makes the valid point that Cork shouldn't be compared with a capital city like Dublin, but she says it's well placed as a quality second city. And in fact, there are lots of positives. Cork either has committed to or there have been talks about 1 million square foot of new office space. One Albert Quay is already full, and parts of the neighbouring and unbuilt Navigation House are already under offer. So the question is, where does the city go next?
We have substantial development opportunity in the South Docks of this city. It's something that is an asset that we've been talking about for a very long time, but we now have that very strong and visible signal of investment to help us start opening up that land. Obviously the development of Páirc Uí Chaoimh and our own commitment to develop Marina Park at the further end, bookends that with what's happened in Albert Quay.
And is that going to rival what has happened in the Docklands in Dublin? Is Cork trying to mirror that?
I think Cork's playing to its strengths. We have a very strong connection with the water right throughout the city, from the island, both channels and out into the port. So I don't think we're trying to mirror, I think we're trying to play to our strengths. We have to move with what's the desire of the market as well, and obviously waterfront waterfront development is very attractive, but it is an asset there to be used. It's a brownfield development, and that puts some people people off, but I think that the work we'll be able to do with this funding and also in partnership with the private sector will actually bring a whole new opportunity to the city. And we know that companies want and people want to be in quite downtown locations.
So the shape of Cork City is going to change a lot, with those developments built all the way along the river towards Páirc Uí Chaoimh. So that's an area that's going to look a lot better than what's there now. But let's go back to my obsession with cranes and lack thereof. The one that would really signify the next phase for Cork would be the crane that goes up over the conference centre on the old Beamish site. That project is stalled as the developers look for 12 million extra off the government in funding. What does Anne Doherty make of that delay?
I share the frustration and the concern about the reputational damage for the city and for everybody involved, including the developer and Live Nation, as a consequence of the continuous public discourse about this, often and sometimes not well informed, and that's not the fault of those who are contributing. It is a very complicated project, and I know that sounds like red tape-itis again, and it's not meant to be, but it is a complicated project. It's not anything that's ever been done in the world, according to Live Nation, because we're building something that's unique, and therefore every inch of the design process has thrown up new challenges that weren't envisaged because of this requirement to go from convention to theatre to massive concert maybe within 2 days, and the type of design that's required for that has never been done before. So they're the types of things that are causing the frustration. Of course I'm frustrated. I'd love it was here tomorrow, but equally I would hope that I'm not left looking at the good citizens of Cork and the elected members of Cork City Council saying, because in the haste to meet deadlines we built the wrong thing.
My thanks to Anne Doherty and all my other guests, and thank you for listening. The new podcast goes up every single Wednesday. You'll find it at redfm.ie. And keep the emails with your ideas coming. The address, redbusiness@redfm.ie. Don't forget the 5 tips to keep those millennials happy. The poor lambs need the reassurance. Catch you next time.
There he sits inside your local coffee shop, sporting a man bun and facial hair. Somehow he believes, although he has no job, that by his 30s he will be a millionaire. M-I-L-L-E-N-N-I-A. Gotta love millennials. M-I-L-L-E-N-N-I-A. Gotta love millennials. She posts lots of selfies on her Instagram with a quote that's inspirational. Hopes to change the world while wearing yoga pants, armed with her dreams and knowledge of essential oils. M-I-L-L-E-N-N-I-A. Gotta love millennials. M-I-L-L-E-N-N-I-A. Gotta love millennials.
Red Business with Jonathan Healy. Never miss an opportunity when you simplify the game. Search Vodafone One Net Business today.